Welcome to the Great Awakening Show. I am Joanne-Divine Life Yogini, and on the show this week, we have BB Batches. BB was sentenced to 8 years in prison away from her beloved children for a crime she did not commit. During her ordeal, Source guided her to study the UCC International Law, where she learnt how the rigged system is committing fraud and treason against 7 billion souls on Earth. BB is now devoted to sharing these teachings with sovereign people from all around the world at the New Earth University. My Yogini talk is Sovereignty and Natural Law. Sovereignty is an inherent condition of human divine existence. We are all sovereign, living women and living men of this wondrous world, and are all natural citizens of Mother Earth. To be sovereign means to be free to walk this earth unencumbered and to be awakened to your birthright as a divine soul created by Source, God, Goddess, not as a false fiction, egoic personality created by corporations or governments. To be sovereign means to be self-governing, self-determining, and independent. So you may fully claim your sacred identity, your liberated path, your own well-being, and thus be empowered in each choice you make. So you may go forward on your journey with courage, autonomy, determination, and never harm another being. When natural law began, it came from God, Goddess, from Source. It did not come from man. The divine granted us dominion over the land, and therefore to have an expression of faith leads to redemption. Sovereignty and natural law are very simple. Everyone is equal before God, Goddess, and the law. Under God's natural law, you are a creation, a soul, alive and incarnate as flesh and blood, born free of any duty to any other man or corporation, with free will. Love God with all of your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself, and do no harm to any other soul. Therefore, any teaching of God, Goddess, Christ consciousness will trump all other authority. The Holy Spirit, the Kundalini energy, the Christus oil within us, when raised, is the radiance that banishes any idea of darkness, false ego, fiction, or fear. This means to be reborn, to have a spiritual birth, where you are born into love and have right-mindedness, righteousness, and salvation. A sovereign citizen is born free with natural rights that at this time are being constrained and contracted by artificial corporations, agencies, banks, institutions, and governments, which govern our lives and livelihoods. These are the elite, corrupt, dark forces which have suppressed humanity and put restrictions on us through certain rates, taxes, fines, and rules, which is a system of enslavement. The Uniform Commercial Code is a code that was set up to make trillions from us, the natural sovereigns of the earth, by taking your name from your birth certificate and turning it into a fake, fiction, ego personality. All countries have corporate governments that cannot interact with a real living woman or a real living man. So they made us into a corporation. All banks, media, big business, big pharma, political and educational institutions belong to the corrupt dark elite, as they own everything and everyone. Yet this is the great awakening, and this good versus evil, this light versus dark war happening now has already been won in the spiritual realms. It just takes time to manifest into our physical realm, which is causing chaos and shocking events to awaken the masses to the truth. It's a spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical awakening, individually and collectively, to take back our power and embody our sovereignty through the redemption process of the UCC law. It's an awakening of defeating our own inner force, ego, and darkness to bring in the light and love of our true divine self. Once humanity awakens to this force fate contract law and to defeat the false ego fiction, then we dissolve this control and enslavement, and we shall be free to speak, live, and walk and unite together upon this beautiful earth. Being sovereign means coming back to Mother Nature and to the natural world. It means coming home to your true higher self that is in heart, mind, soul alignment, balance, and wholeness. This self-realized awakened state is our birthright and makes all normal activities in life become joyful. We do not react to good or bad things. We just accept everything as it is and live from our pure being. When we stay in our love, in our sovereign reality and out of false ego, all our senses are heightened. We hear, feel, speak, see, and touch the truth of life and know that in every moment, miraculous things are happening all over this world. We realize life really is divine. And as we look up to the heavens, we experience its celestial perfection, which mirrors the celestial perfection within our own hearts and souls. This is the sovereign time of seeking everything within ourselves. It's a time of love, peace, joy, and abundance. It's a time of truth, justice, freedom, and greatness. It's a time of knowing that wisdom, leadership, guru, and God, goddess are within our soul hearts. Natural law is coming together in love awareness and unity consciousness to give all people their birthright of a decent, meaningful, abundant existence. Sovereignty is salvation, is nirvana in our body now. It's heaven on earth now.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Bibi, welcome to the Great Awakening Show.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely, lovely. Bibi, this is such an amazing time to be alive. And I wish to know, all our audience wish to know, what does this great awakening mean for you and for us all?
For me, it means that I'm getting to see the light more and more, this great awakening. And for the people of Earth, I think they are also awakening. They're waking up and they're seeing what's going on around them and what's happening, but not as much as we want or would like. But eventually they will, because this is the age of Aquarius and they will wake up.
Yes, they will. You can see it already happening. So many people are knowing that things are not right. You know, what they're watching on the television, what the governments are saying, what all the medical people are saying, they can feel it. It doesn't resonate. They feel that something is wrong. You know, they can feel it. So,
Well, I think there's so many different information comes on the television, which they really shouldn't watch because it's very confusing. Everybody tells you something different. So
propaganda. Yeah.
Yes. But you see, the thing is, it's not the truth, and everybody's doing their own thing. on the television to confuse people. So people should stop watching the television so much
Exactly.
and listening to them. Just listen to your heart and what you can see around you.
Ah, and Bibi, your story is so unbelievable. Tell us about your awakening and what happened to you.
Okay, well, I woke up in prison. I started to see it. Well, everybody knows because I do students all over the world, so all my students know what happened to me. I was put in prison. I have not committed no crime, and I just wanted to know how they got me there.
How long was you in prison for?
7 years and 4 months.
Terrible. How old was you when they put you into prison?
I was 54. I never had even a speeding ticket. I never had to go to court for anything, and it was quite a shock.
Wow.
So I decided that I'm going to find out how they did this.
Yes.
Because I was always told that if you go to court and tell the truth, that's how it's supposed to be. But it's not. It's not. It's the other way around. If you lie, it's okay. Yes, because they're all committing fraud and they're all lying in the courts. The judges, prosecutor, the lawyers, they're there for the money. The judge is a banker.
Wow.
He's there to
Yes. That must have been so terrible to take you away from your children and everything. You must have felt so hopeless in that time. You told me before that you was just crying and crying,
Yes.
you know, and then Source came to you, and that's when you began awakening and you began educating yourself on natural common law. Yeah.
Yes. On being a sovereign, how we should. We normally, I grew up in the time when it still was, people still had some kind of a sovereignty. But then I think it started in the Second World War, all this started. And they started to bring in this UCC, contract law, lies, fraud, everything to the masses of people.
Yes. Tell us the difference between, first, tell us, what does sovereignty mean to you? You know, tell us about a living woman and a living man. What does sovereignty mean?
Okay, sovereignty is natural law. It's what we were born with. And I think most of it comes after the Ten Commandments. If you follow the Ten Commandments, you will never get into trouble. You need to form sovereignty is forming communities where you can barter. You're allowed to plant and reap your own food. And bartering does not give the IRS any leeway to come and tax you, because bartering you cannot tax.
Exactly.
So I feel that sovereignty is people need to get together. They need to do their own thing, plant their yard and their gardens and share with their neighbors. Then you don't need the supermarket.
No, exactly.
The supermarket is there to, yes, and that's not. So sovereign is being a God-given right, not to obey the rights of what man has given you. When you vote for them, you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors against you. And then you end up in places where you shouldn't. And you don't know what's going on with you. You don't know what's happening with you. You're supposed to have democracy, but we don't have that. Democracy is a 3-man vote. When they make the rules, they're supposed to put it out there so we can vote whether we want it or not. But we don't know how many millions and millions of rules are being made. And we don't know what they are.
Or the fraud.
Yes, we're just ignorant of, I'd say, all the laws. that they be making.
Mm.
And sovereignty is being free.
Common law and statutory law is the law that we all live under. It's the crown, it's the governments, it's the corporations, isn't it? Tell us about that.
Okay, well, statutory law does not apply to us because we're real. Statutes and codes does not apply to us at all. It applies to the fiction that they made. So if you get a letter in the mail from anyone and it says under this statute and code, I'm charging you, or I'm doing this to you, or I'm giving you a ticket under this statute, it does not apply to you. They're giving it to your fiction, and you are going to be the surety for it without knowing.
Wow. And that fiction, how did that come about? Did that come about by the birth certificate? Because I see it as the fiction is the ego personality, is the false self. That's our living woman and living man is the true self, is the divine, natural woman and man of the earth. Tell us about the birth certificate and how they did that.
Okay, well, when we were born, the day of your birth and time is recorded, and they attach what you call a QSIP number, and on the QSIP number, then they move it into a SESTQB trust. They made up a trust, and because they're corporations and they're fiction, they cannot interact with us because we're real flesh and blood. So they had to make a corporation to interact with. So your straw man is a corporation and it's making all the money. Now the birth certificate is registered with the Surgeon General from the Navy, and that's why we're under shipping. We're not from then, and we don't know that we had another persona. See, we found out only maybe in the past, well, I found out about 18 years ago that this is how they did it. And they never told us. But the people who did this are the people we're voting for to be presidents and kings and queens and ministers and all these people. I think most of them don't really know either.
Yeah.
They don't know. The police don't know.
No.
No.
It's been so well hidden. I mean, this is just crazy. If people knew that, tell us about this corporation. Tell us about the Crown, and it's the Crown, isn't it? The City of London, the Crown, the Vatican, DC. Expand on that. Expand on how they have done it through this fake law.
Okay, well, the people who did this, they all got together on this, and they decided this is what we're going to do. This is how we can make money. Now, America is owned by Britain still. It is all their attorneys, they're British esquires.
Under the fake corporation?
Yes, oh yes, the Queen. Everything goes to the Crown. Now, America, the first president was British. Then they made the king give them independence in America and give them with 3 concessions they had to sign. And one, that all attorneys have to be British, not British, esquires. They have to take the title of esquires. And 13 British governors. How could you give a country independence and then says, you have to have 13 British governors? So the title of nobility, esquire, is an English gentleman collecting money for the Queen. So they have to take the title of esquire. And they are members of the bar, like England, and the bar stands for British Accreditation Registry. So they all come under the same hat or umbrella. So it's planned for us. And once we know how to get out of it, we don't have to put up with it.
So how do we get out of it, BB? Tell us a little bit of how, a few little things. Yeah.
Now, contract law is what's under the UCC now, their law. We are not under government and we're not under constitution. So if you don't have a government, how can you have a constitution? Now, in America, the constitution says no title of nobility should be granted by any king, prince, or foreign state to any American. But still, they're all esquires, their title of nobility. Now, we can get out of it if we come out of that mindset, and we have to go and study the Uniform Commercial Code. Because that's international. And if you walk into a courtroom, you leave your rights outside because you're going under the UCC and you will never win. And the judges always tell you when you lose, you have no right to appeal. Because what are you going to appeal on? They know. Most of the judges that was trained, they know what they're doing. Mm. So people never, maybe 10 cases out of 100, they might decide to let it pass. So you would think that, okay, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Exactly.
So how do you do that? When you go into the court, if it's a civil matter, you can actually, claim your birthright as a living woman, and it's all in the language and it's all in your signature. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. It's all in the language, but people don't know when they go into the court. That's the thing. If you don't know, then it doesn't make any difference. They will do whatever they want with you. When I first went into the courtroom, I thought I was telling the truth. They had all my papers, everything, nothing showed that I have laundered any money. And I had up to the penny accounted for 10 years that I got the bank statements I paid for from the bank. So there was nothing there to show that I have laundered anything. But still I was found guilty of money laundering. And I thought, well, how could they do that? There was no evidence, none whatsoever. And now that after that I could see it, it was like all acting, like you were in a theater. It was not really trial with jurors of your peers. Now, juries is picked and they say it's supposed to be from your peers. Now, your peers are people in the community that knows you. That's how the jury of your peers should be picked. And that's the real jury. Not they pick somebody from Nottingham, somebody from Birmingham, from Scotland, from all over the country that doesn't even know you and know your character. So they weren't jury of my peers. And then they would go ahead and they would sign, the prosecutor signs all the grand jury papers. So how can you win?
It's terrible.
It is awful. And the thing that makes it worse is that they give people, I see people in prison, some of the women, they have 50 years. 1,400 years.
For something they didn't do.
Yeah. I know they didn't because I read the papers. I read their papers. I knew.
And when you was in prison, you educated yourself, didn't you? All on this. This is why you teach this now, which is just absolutely wonderful. You teach this at the New Earth University. And it's just, tell us a little bit about, so is the whole world under this? The whole world. Yeah, this is going through every single country in the world is under this fake corporation that they have created because And that's why I know I've felt that all my life as being a yogini, because everything I tried, it's almost like they suppress us so much. They make us think we are worthless. They don't, we are divine, and they suppress that divinity. They suppress that beauty within us, because they put us under this fake jurisdiction, this fake corporation. And
Yes.
once we know we are sovereign, it's almost like we are living wonderful beings of source. We have that divine flame of source within us. And when we know we are sovereignty, it's like, that's our awakening. And I think that's what now so many people are waking up to this. Tell us about how you teach people to be sovereign.
Okay, I have a set of documents that I had prepared when I was in prison, and I use it, and I show people how you can take back your straw man, how you can own it so they don't have rights over it. You can go into the bank and you can sign a different way so they cannot go into your account and give your money to the IRS. If the IRS says, oh, well, she owes me this money and I'm going to get it, because each bank has got an IRS account all over the world. So if the IRS think you owe them, they don't ask, they don't wait for you to pay them. They go into your account and take it. So I teach people how to sign, how to put their signature. Now there's two things. There's signature and there's autograph. Mm-hmm. Signature is the fiction you sign in for, and autograph is the real person. Oh, for the signature, it's by order of, and then you put your all caps name in. And then you put by, your name in high case, lowercase, and you put agent or authorized representative. Now, and the banks, what they did, and I have a copy of from the UCC book that I put into my book, where it shows on your signature on your checks, you write a check out to me, and then you sign your name at the bottom. Now, at the top, have your name in block letters, because the banks volunteer to give you free checks. And you type up your name at the top in block letters and your address. So, okay, so you're signing your name, signature at the bottom, to pay someone that money. Now, it's not money, it's just paper. But between the lines, where you sign, right, has got authorized representative. They put it there before they give you the check. They type it up. If someone had take picture, I don't know how he did it, but he found the authorized representative under where you were signing. So you're signing for the straw man at the top. The money is coming out of the straw man's account. And your account.
So once you become sovereign, can you have a different account, a trust? Okay.
As sovereign, you don't have to have an account. People don't have to go use the banks. You see, we depend on it because some people overshop and they use the banks. They ask for overdraft and all this stuff. All these things, we have to be contented with what we can afford. We have to start buying what we need, not what we want.
Which is also going to help Mother Earth's resources as well. We're always too much consumerism. It's depleting everything. We don't need so many things. It's the ego. That's the ego, isn't it? Things to make you happy. It's
They teach you that because they have all these corporations, like you'll have Nike and all these brand name, and because people are not so educated about it, they would go out and spend all their money buying and making these people richer and richer.
Yeah.
Now, why? What is what's inside of you is not what you're wearing.
Yes.
You understand? So people don't get, and then the young kids are putting pressure on their parents, and all this have to stop.
Yes. And most of them companies use child slave labor in foreign countries. It's awful. Not, it's so terrible.
Did I send you that article I wrote for my class as Wake Up Sovereigns?
Yes.
Yes. You have the children going into the coal mines in this country. 5 years old, 6 years old.
Going into the coal mines, children. They still do that in Africa, mining for that mineral that goes into all telephones and all computers.
Yes.
The slavery in Africa is off the planet. It's so vast. And who's it controlled by? The elite from other countries raping Africa.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I was in prison with an African girl. And she told me when she was looking at my papers, she says, I wish I had seen this before. She says, in her country, the queen and all her people that she sends out to work, when they used to walk on the beach as children, and they used to pick up these shells, and in the shells have the pearl.
Yeah.
Yes, and she said that. Sometime when she was grown up, she says the English people used to come there, and they asked them where they got those from. They used to play with them, and they showed them. And she says now there is walls and walls of empty shells where they came and took
greed.
Yes,
greed, money. It's just
yes, but we all have to die and leave it here.
Yeah, we can't take it with us.
No.
Yeah. All we can take is our consciousness and our soul, and redeem ourselves. Wow. So what was the book that you've written a book about this?
I've written a book about a lot of information that people need to, once they get it, there's a certain part that tells about the UCC. A certain part shows how America has two different states. It's different. It's got a republic and it's got the corporation. So there's two different forms of government. Then here, the Queen, she's already incorporated a long time. She has her own corporation. She's not supposed to. She's supposed to be representing the sovereign people. That's the oath she took in 1953. But she's now incorporated herself.
Is your book for sale, or do they have to do your wonderful course to be able to receive that?
No, the book is finished. Sasha is going to publish it for me.
We can't wait for that. That is going to
come out. Yeah, it should come out by the end of this summer.
That is going to help so many people. Well done. Thank you so much, Bibi, for doing that. Thank you.
And it's
what's the name?
Called The Evil Within.
Evil Within.
The Evil Within.
The Evil Within. Yeah.
We don't know anything about it. They do.
That's right. It's like I call it. For us, we've got the evil, the elite globalist government cabal, whatever you want to call them, and they're on the outside. But we've also, all of us, got that on the inside. It's our dark side as well as our light that we have to every day, try to overcome and, try and turn to the good side to be a better person every day. You can either go with your ego, or you can become more like the divine source and more godly and more pure.
Yes. The thing is, the saying is, if your heart is as light as a feather, you have nothing to worry about. Because you have not hurt anybody, you have not taken advantage of anyone, you have done good, you have helped people. We're supposed to be helping each other. Whether you have or you don't, you walk the street and you see someone sitting there begging, and we don't know their circumstances, why they're begging. If they're doing it fraudulently, then that's on them.
Exactly.
People say nasty things. Oh, why are you sitting there? There's lots of people that come for better life and don't find it, and they don't know what else to do because they leave controls. You do this or you don't do this, and I can't help you. That kind of stuff. So it's all, but it's going to change. I'm telling you. It's going to change.
This is the Great Awakening. This is the beginning of it. And, you know, the new earth that we're going into is going to be incredible. It's going to be full of sovereigns, everyone, you know, and they won't need anything or take anything from any other person because they don't need anything. They've got everything on them. Yeah.
That's right. There would be no stealing, no killing, no fighting, no nothing.
Yeah.
People would start seeing it how it's supposed to be seen.
How we're supposed to live. Yeah. How we were supposed to live before they took over, you know.
Yes. In Guyana, even now, my country, it's people give. Say like if you have your garden, your neighbor have their garden, you share your stuff.
That's real community.
It is. And they plant. We have so much land, so they plant and they share.
Yeah.
It's not like...
I believe this Great Awakening is going back to the mother, back to Mother Earth.
Yes.
Back to the old ways, the ancient knowledge, the old ways of living. You know, it'll be a two-world split with the people in the cities who have been, you know, chipped maybe or vaccinated, whatever. They'll still be in that matrix. They'll still be under that thing until they awaken, because everyone will. But then we'll be outside of that and helping people and healing people and teaching them about this most important subject.
The thing is, too, I think people who take the vaccination, some of them will be sorry they did take it, but I don't think they're not meant to see.
Yeah.
So if there's millions of them take it, they were not meant to see.
Yeah.
Because if they were meant to see, they wouldn't. I saw a lady on YouTube where she took the vaccination, and the next day, she started bleeding and she could not stop. She got her period and she has been shaking like when you have Parkinson's.
It's awful. So many adverse reactions and so many deaths. I don't know why they should, you know, it has to stop now. It has to stop soon. But so many people around the world are rising up and they are awake. You know, all the countries are waking up now. It's phenomenal. This truly is a great awakening, and it's we the people, unity consciousness, love awareness coming together, because there's only a minority of them. We're the majority.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Actually, it is going to be okay for us.
Yeah,
it will.
I know. I feel that with all of my heart. There's no fear at all. Only stay in that place of love and out of that fear which they have perpetuated. So, but Bibi, can you give us, our audience, some guidance on what they could do to, when they get fines, when they get bills, you know, if they get a parking ticket, these things, how could they write back to them? What do they do to stop paying them, because it's all fraud?
You see, the thing is, the lights, the electricity, the water, the gas belongs to us, because our strongman made that, made all those technology. Everything they made, it was from the strongman, not from our taxes. When you receive a light bill, it's a statement, and the statement has already been paid from your strawman's account. But if you ask them for a commercial true bill, tell them you are willing to pay, but you need a bill.
So is that what you write? Is that how you write it? You write it, oh, I do not contract with you, and you ask them for a commercial bill?
Yeah, no, you don't tell them you don't contract it. The electricity belongs to you. You don't have to have a contract. You just ask them for a bill, because they're the ones who put in their meter. And the meter is what you're paying for, not the electricity.
Yes.
Or the gas, or the water. Or driving on the highway, I give them a 4-page document to send to the DVLA. So you don't have to have a driver's license to drive. You don't have to pay for your driving license. You don't have to pay insurance. You don't have to pay any of that. So all that brings the money back into your pocket, so you can live more comfortable. Now, they take your children from you and put them in homes and molest them because they're evil.
They are. A lot of them are paedophiles. Most of them are. They're awful, evil, what they've done to the children. That is going to awaken millions of people when that comes out.
Yeah, the children, the parents, you see, they make you sign as an informant on the child's birth certificate. And if you're an informant, then you inform and then you have this child and it's there, and they think that you're people of unsound minds. You cannot take care of the children. So they can come into your home with the police and take your child, and you can't stop them. I can't understand how that will be.
But you can stop them if you become sovereign. So tell us a little bit of how would you speak to a policeman? How do you, if they pull you over, how would you speak to someone, who's come, or someone who's at your door? How would you speak to them?
Okay, I have a recording from one of my students who was stopped by the police here in England. And I will send you a copy. I want you to listen to it. He didn't have his driver's license, and he said that he doesn't have to have one. He's not doing it for business, because you have to be doing it for commerce before you can have a license. Selling goods to have a license. So he didn't, and they locked him, handcuffed, put him in the station, and he called his company, and they told the police that the police is wrong, and now at the moment now he's in court charging the police with fraud and harassment. And I'll send you listen to the recording what the lady's telling the police officer. He had no right to stop him and ask him for his license. For no reason.
And it's all about when they ask you, do you understand?
No, you stand under. Do not stand under.
Do not stand under.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you get stopped, you don't have to answer. You don't have to sign anything. Especially if you get stopped for you speeding over 3 miles or something, they would pick on you.
But and if they ask you your name, what do you do then?
Well, you don't have to give it. You don't have to give your name, because that's when you contract. And if you sign anything, that means you contract, and that's why they want to take you to the station to intimidate you. Why do you need my name? They call you at home and ask you your name. People call you here and says, "Oh, are you so and so?" No. Who do you want? When the judge asked me my name, I says, "You sent for me. I didn't send for you. So if you don't have my name, I shouldn't be here." But that's when I get to know. Now, when you go into the court, it's the same thing. If you don't give your name, you don't have to give your name. You don't have to go to court. Because it is not a court. It's a business center. And the judge is a banker and the prosecutor.
It's unbelievable.
They collect the funds for the Queen.
Yeah.
And on your birth certificate, I give copies to my class, 1 copy each, so they will see. The birth certificate that has the CIS-DQ on it, I have copies of that. Some people send me from some of my students from Scotland. The Queen signed off on it, and so is the President of the Philippines on the birth certificate with your name on it. And at the top says CIS-DQ we trust. So it's going in from the stock market into the United Bank of Switzerland via the Philippines. And all their money from America, here, all over the world, goes to Puerto Rico.
They are trading us on the stock exchange.
Oh, yes.
So is our birth certificate worth money to us? Is our straw man worth money to us?
Joanna, billions.
Oh my God. But how can do you have to become sovereign and get your trust? And and then you can tap into that. How can you tap into that?
Well, this paperwork I usually give to the students, and I tell them you can go through step by step for your QSIP number. Once you get the QSIP number, because it's through Fidelity, once you get the number, you can get into your QSIP account and your SSTQ account. And my prison number, every number you have has got an account.
Every number has a different account, and that's got all the different funds.
Yes. And you have your marriage certificate. People have family died. They still trade on that. They still trade on your closed bank accounts. That's where they launder the money.
Wow.
Your closed bank account. They still keep it open.
Wow.
The bank.
So, Bibi, you know that beautiful song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and over the rainbow is the pot of gold. It's blimmin' true.
It is. And how much you weigh at birth is how much you have in gold.
Wow.
Everybody.
So, and do you think for humanitarian projects, that money, we can tap into that, and we can have that funds to be able to buy our beautiful, community? Is that true?
You can, because if you have enough money, you can always share it with other people too.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Who's not waking up, and maybe they will wake up.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make myself sovereign and do it and be an example for others then to do it for themselves.
Yeah. Well, what I do with the class is that I give them 5 sets of paperwork, 5 classes. And the first one is taking back your straw man, taking back the contract. Then after you own it, the straw man gives you permission on one of the forms to do a lot of stuff. We send your signatures, non-corporate status, power of attorney with the straw man. The straw man gives you everything, and it works, because if you put those papers in the court, you can win.
Bibi, you're incredible. You are amazing. Thank goodness we've got you in this world now that is teaching all of this. It's so important to give people back their human. This is their basic human right. This is their birthright on this beautiful earth. It's their birthright to be free and to have funds that were given to them at birth.
A comfortable, easy life.
Yeah, and not. This is going to be so wonderful. This is like Nazara and Jazara all over, because this is true Nazara and truth Jazara, because this is going to give all people, their sovereignty and to be able to live a basic, comfortable, wonderful life, instead of, look at all the third world countries. They're living as savages, for goodness sake. They're on top of blimmin' rubbish heaps. It's awful.
Yeah, it is awful. But it's going to change.
Yeah.
We're going to have a spiritual earth soon.
Yeah, I totally believe that so much. I totally believe that. This is why we're here. And this is why we meet. We meet together and we all come together to help each other go forward. Yeah. So important. So how can people get hold of you through the New Earth University, which is to do with Sasha Stone, isn't it?
Yes. Well, the New Earth University, I teach twice per year, March and September. And I do one-on-one on a daily basis via my email.
And that's online. So, that's an online.
I do one-on-one online, yeah. They select the one-on-one. They send me a Zoom link. And then I get on Zoom. I set them up which day, what time, and for the 5 classes, and then I send them the paperwork, and once they receive the paperwork and I set up the class, we start. And a student from Australia who sent me an email last week, Connor, he says he would like to be a UCC lawyer, and could I help him?
Wow.
Because he really believed, and he said he had looked at the UCC book, but it's difficult and he needs some guidance. So if he wants to be a UCC lawyer in Australia, I will help him.
Honestly, you are just such a wonderful, incredible woman. And what you went through, them years in prison, you know, you were called by source, by God, goddess, to be here. You had to go through your suffering and you raised yourself up with your knowledge and you became sovereign. And now you're giving that to everyone else. And I just think that's so wonderful and honorable. And it's just lovely. Yeah.
Thank you, Joanna.